Will of the board. I'd like to move adoption of Ordinance 888. I think that it has the protections to ensure First Amendment rights, and it will protect residential people from people coming onto their property and taking away the quality of life of those that are being protested against. And
I'll second it. But if the gentleman has his hand up, he might. We brought Mr. Al-Hadafa. We might let him talk just to balance it off there.
I'd just like to point out that there's residences on both sides of that highway. I just want to know absolutely for sure that, first of all, I don't want that ordinance passed at all. It's unconstitutional. It will tie you up in court. And I tell you what, I'm not doing this as a hobby now. I'm on this full time. And we will go and file suits. You have a budget to fight this, possibly for months and years, okay? I want to again emphasize that there's residences on both sides here. We want to know exactly, and give you the map, circle the areas where we're allowed to protest, okay? By the way, there should not be any limits at all, okay? But I want to know for sure exactly where we can protest, okay? Should I give you the map?
Adam,
you got the map.
If you'd like to leave it, we'll be happy to point that out. If you leave it with the clerk, please.
Well, if you have, if you came to a situation where you had a house on one side of the street and there's a house on the other side of the street, it looks like you'd have to move down the street 50 feet away from those houses, and you're still there. You can still raise your voices. What, 50 feet? It's not even that wall. I'm not even sure this is.
You can protest both residences at once.
I don't want anybody standing in front of my house, waving a. I don't like that much.
Just, Mr. Chair, from a practical standpoint, if a group's out there under the new ordinance and is attempting to protest and trying to find out where they can protest in conformance with this ordinance and do so safely also, who's going to be the arbiter of that? Are we going to work with the Sheriff's Department in this case so that they can, and maybe Transportation Department in some cases, so that if there's ongoing protests, I would urge that the county arrive at some procedure so people can get a defined area where they can legitimately protest. And particularly if they're bringing in new people are protesting, they need to have this information as well. Can we ask, as a follow-up to this ordinance, can we ask for a procedure to be set up so that they can know this and have some assurance that where they're doing so comports with the ordinance?
By all means, I'd be happy to amend my motion. Supervisor Ashley, you'll amend your second to that.
Could you also include a report back in, let's say, 6 months of how many instances we've had to enforce this ordinance, and complete description? What happened? Where was it done? And so forth, because I'm very uncomfortable with this ordinance.
Okay, I'll include that in my second. That's your motion.
I'll include that as well. I think we need to see the success of what we've done, and we'll modify where we feel we need to modify in the future. So with that, I'll ask the board to please vote.
With waiver of the reading of the ordinance?
Yes, please.
Introduction of ordinance number 884, an ordinance of the County of Riverside regulating targeted residential picketing.
Please vote. Let the record reflect that's passed 5-0. Do we need to do 3.29 separately, or do we do them together? Okay. I'll move 3.29, adoption of ordinance number 888, an urgency ordinance of the County of Riverside regulating targeted residential picketing.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please vote. Let the record reflect that that is unanimous at this time. That concludes our policy calendar.